Let's think about analysis and evaluation. Now these questions, which are usually worth anywhere between 5 and 10 marks, they need you to ask yourself one very short question. So what? Don't just tell the narrative of what happens in a business, say what the impact is. And that's what I mean by so what. Impact can be positive or negative. The advantages or the disadvantages, the benefits or the drawbacks. So when I answered this question, I started by drawing myself a little map. I look at this essay question, short answer question, as a story. The story needs a list of characters, and I thought managers, suppliers, employees, they are words I'm going to use. And I pictured in my head what these people were doing at this meeting, or it could be a presentation. They are presumably discussing or reviewing things, or maybe they're training. Then I worked on the word technology. Technology involves hardware, that's equipment, and software, those are the programs. Skype, PowerPoint, FaceTime. Video conferencing software, that's the best way to describe Skype and FaceTime. Whereas PowerPoint I would call presentation software. And then I thought about what's the effect of this on the business. So I pictured managers sitting there talking to their employees about the monthly sales figures for the last year. The manager would probably use presentation software like PowerPoint and include video clips perhaps, looking at websites, showing them sales graphs, graphs of profit, graphs of loss, graphs of sales, graphs of growth, to make it real so that the message doesn't get lost. How else can you explain a graph to somebody without showing them it? That's my point. Now, the beauty of video conferencing equipment, video conferencing technology, is that you can have meetings with employees and suppliers who aren't in the room. Your suppliers might be on the other side of the world. Your employees might work miles away from home or in a different office that your company has. So not everybody has to be at the meeting. You can have a meeting using video conferencing software. The question I said you've got to ask is, so what? Well, by not having to get people from all over the world saves a company time and money, which increases their productivity and efficiency. People don't have to spend hours travelling to meetings. It's just so much simpler. You don't have to pay the costs of travelling to a meeting. So that might save you as an employee money. It might save the company money, because often the company would say, we're going to have a meeting, we'll fly in our people, we'll pay for them to get here on the train. And that all comes off a business's costs. So it saves time and money by having video conferencing available for meetings. So what would be some good answers to go in this? Some good sentences using the right vocabulary? Well, you could use things like, managers can use video conferencing software to conduct meetings with suppliers who may be based overseas to discuss things like prices, delivery dates, and terms and conditions. This would save both parties, so the company and the suppliers, time and money, which means they can work more effectively, more efficiently, and more productively. Managers can use presentation software to deliver training sessions to staff, so they can show them graphs using PowerPoint, for example, of sales, revenue, and profit. This means that the message is not lost, and it makes it easier to explain complicated concepts like finance and business growth. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. I started by thinking about the people in the story, why they were there at these meetings, what type of technologies help, and most importantly, so what? All of these things, the use of technology is meant to ensure that the message doesn't get lost at meetings and in presentations. It saves time, it saves money, which in turn increase productivity and efficiency. People don't want to be spending all day travelling to and from meetings. Video conferencing has changed that, and it means that companies can now employ people all over the world without having to travel, 2, 5, 10 hours in order to have a meeting with them. That's really important.